Discussing the events of Stamford Bridge. We'll talk about the actual game and Chelsea's part of it in a moment. But Arne Slot talking there on the back of 3 consecutive defeats in all competitions, all of them away from home. You were actually in Istanbul to see the Champions League one. When we go into this international break now, how much food for thought has he got at the moment?
He's got a lot of work to do. They've invested a lot of money in the summer and it's not working, it's not clicking. There's no way they've got the balance right. And he doesn't feel comfortable in what they've signed as yet. They've signed Florian Wirtz, who's a very, very good footballer. They've not worked out how to get the best from him yet in that Liverpool system. They signed Frimpong. He's not comfortable with him at right back. He's tried 3 different right backs, Bradley, Frimpong, Szoboszlai. Played Frimpong right side of a 3 up top on Tuesday in Istanbul. That didn't work either. Played Conor Bradley yesterday, took him off at half-time, as he did last weekend. So, yeah, they've got big problems. It's not just defensively, it's in the midfield as well, because there's a lack of protection. There's a lack of understanding how to get the best out of individuals. So, yeah, he's got a lot of work to do over the international break, if indeed he can do it, because he's going to lose a lot of his players. He's not going to be able to work with the players as much as he would want to. But he's got a lot of food for thought over the next couple of weeks to get ready for their next game. Quite
incredible, really, because 3 games ago in all competitions, they had a 100% record in every competition, and people were saying, well, how are we going to stop Liverpool winning the title?
It was a tough week for Liverpool fans, isn't it? You know, since Arne Slot's come in, everything's been so smooth. They've had a brilliant summer, recruited really well. Alan's right. The balance isn't quite there yet. It'll take time. And again, he's right about the 2-week break now. I would say the majority of his squad will be off playing for their country, so he'll probably get a couple of days before the next game to prepare. But again, everyone just thought, after winning the league last season, adding all these amazing players in attacking positions especially, they're going to win it again. But it's never that simple. It takes time for these players to bed in. It takes time for these players to get the right positions. And again, the balance in midfield, and then going behind the midfield, I've got real worries about the defence as well. It talks about the full-back areas. You know, Konaté's struggling at the minute. Van Dijk is not the Van Dijk of last season, perhaps. They've lost Alisson last week to injury as well. So there's lots of things he has to deal with. And probably the first time since Arne Slot's joined Liverpool that people are questioning, not everything he does, but the little things that he's not been questioned about so far.
Yeah, it's the first time in his managerial career he's lost 3 in a row in any competitions as well. But particularly the central defence, to see Konaté go off in a game like that and Gravenberch go back there, and he's changed the full-backs, both of them as well.
Particularly when Gomez was on the bench as well. So you had the option of either playing him right back or playing him centre-half when others have gone off. But he chose again to put Szoboszlai right back, Gravenberch centre off, which would give you a big concern when you've invested so much. I mean, it's not just that right side. I mean, Salah's never been great defensively, but when you're scoring 25 and 30 goals, you can basically control what you want to do. Whereas when you're not winning games and when you're not scoring goals, it's very difficult to hide that. And it's been highlighted that he doesn't help the fullback as much as perhaps other people do, but he compensated in that from scoring a shed load of goals. But that's not the only problem that side. Kerkez hasn't been as good as he was at Bournemouth. He's finding it difficult at Liverpool. He had the freedom to go whenever he wanted it and just play off the cuff at Bournemouth. But I think he's finding it hard as to when to go and when not to go in terms of that cover that Van Dijk needs, because Van Dijk and Konaté have looked really, really exposed. So yeah, it's been an issue. And even you said, even before last week, they were getting away with it because we all thought it was a positive that they were actually winning games without playing particularly well. But they were winning games but giving so many chances away to the opposition, and teams weren't taking it. We all thought, well, that has to be a good sign. But whereas they're getting punished now for late goals and getting punished for giving so many chances away. I mean, at Crystal Palace last week, if it wasn't for the brilliance of Alisson in the first half, no exaggeration, there would have been at least 4, maybe 5-0 down. Now, that would alarm you, that a team that has gone from being brilliant one season, when the expectation, no one expected Liverpool to do that, whereas now the expectation is huge on them, particularly even more so, not just because they won the league at a canter last year, but because of the huge investment that I've made in so many players.
And from an opposition point of view, that aura, they'll look at those last 3 games and see areas where they can prosper.
Yeah, I think, again, Alan's right in the sense the balance. Opposition teams and managers will look at their balance. It's not right if you can break through their press from a front point of view. You mentioned Mo Salah, you know, he's as a brilliant player as he has been player of the season last year. He doesn't really track back. So again, they're not balancing that one side alone. So at times you feel sorry for Bradley and Frimpong because they're doubling up on him, the opposition teams, and really struggling to defend that. And again, they're giving up way too many chances. Way too many chances. It's a real concern. Again, it's nearly going peeling it all back and going from a solid foundation. We're going to be hard to beat today. We're going to be really sort of dogged. And then you got the likes of Isak, who hasn't had a pre-season either. We should say he needs to get up to speed. And Wirtz, I do like Wirtz as a player. He's getting a lot of stick at the minute, but I still think there's a diamond in there. I think he'll be a top player for Liverpool in the years to come. And
just before we move on, at the top, you mentioned Isak. Ekitike have been playing and scoring, and Isak's now having to play. Is that a potential issue for him?
Yeah, I mean, then the other question is, can they then play together? Yes, I'm sure they can, but how many times that will happen,
He's hinted,
I don't
not,
know,
hasn't
because
he, really?
Isak's already said his favoured position is down the middle. Ekitike, without doubt, is better down the middle, and he's probably been the standout player for Liverpool, Ekitike. Yet in that such a huge game, he finds himself left out. And Isak had that one header that he missed, didn't he? Second half that he put over the bar. But you're not going to see the best of Isak for another 2 or 3 weeks. I guess he'll go with the international break, play more games, get more game ready. But you're not going to see the best of him for a while as yet because he's not up to speed.
Quick one on Chelsea. They lost back-to-back league games with red cards in both, we should point out. Is that a glimpse of what they're capable of, this young squad, if not perhaps the consistency? Yeah, definitely. It's a big win for them. Esteval, you know, getting a 95th minute winner, what will that do to his confidence as a young player in a new country, a new league as well? He looks an exciting young player. And again, let's not forget they're the Club World Champions, so they are a team that's had a taste of winning. They won a European trophy last year as well. And a bit like Man City, as I said before, no one's actually speaking about them really being in the title race. But when you beat the champions at home, it gives everyone a huge belief. And Maresca then running down the tunnel or running down the touchline, he probably believes quietly inside that they've got a chance.
I think especially with all their injuries that they've got. I mean, I think they're feeling the backlash of playing in the Club World Cup. It going on so long with all the injuries that they had yesterday, particularly in defensive areas. I think the way they stuck together yesterday and the performance of Caicedo, I thought Chelsea were magnificent.
Yep, OK, and of course the pressure for Liverpool was put on them prior to that game because Arsenal won again, this time against West Ham in Nuno's second game in charge. And they are finding the consistency, Alan.
Yeah, they were never ever put under any pressure yesterday. They won at a canter, really. But I think one of the big things for me yesterday was Declan Rice moving 20 yards further forward when Odegaard went off, Zubamendi came on. He then sat and tried to dictate things, and that allowed Rice to get further forward. If you remember, 10 minutes before that, Eza missed a really identical opportunity, whereas he didn't. And there's another brilliant pass into to Timber. They get the penalty, and they stick it away. And it was a really comfortable afternoon for Arsenal. And with the squad that they had, don't forget, last February West Ham beat Arsenal at the Emirates, and their bench yesterday, there was only 2 left from the 9 substitutes. And for me, that's the big difference, is that when you go through the substitutes yesterday compared to when West Ham beat them in February, you bring in Zubamendi on. That for me is the big difference. You bring in quality on, and Arsenal are going to need that because they'll go far in so many competitions this year with that squad.
Yeah, it's difficult to see any weaknesses. It really is. I mean, they've been knocking on the door, haven't they, the last 3 seasons, coming second. Arteta's gone into the market again, strengthened really well. Madueke, Eze, I like a lot. They've gone, and when you look at, Al mentioned the bench, you don't see any weakness. A player comes off and an even better player maybe comes on. I know Arteta's changed the substitution name to finishers, But you can kind of see what he's getting at. He's trying to keep everyone happy because they will be going on all fronts. And I know they're sitting at the top of the league now as we sit here today, but I think they've been building this up for the last number of years. And I think the couple of signings in the summer is the real sort of final piece to the jigsaw. And I think anyone finishes above them, you know, they'll win it. So I really strongly fancy Arsenal to actually get over the line this year.
And the one negative for the third start in a row, Martin Odegaard off in the first half. Some reports today of a medial knee ligament injury, which is a blow for the club captain. But on the point that you're making, they're much better equipped to cope without him than they have been in the past.
Mendy comes on. That for me is a great example of where Arsenal are. And you look at someone goes off and the options that they've got on that bench now. That is the big difference. Yes, Arsenal have had a really good 12 or 13 or 14 players, but they've never had a good 18, 19, 20 players, which is what you need. And I think Arsenal have got that now because there's no doubt they're going to go far. They've got one or two injuries, Madueke, Odegaard, as you've said. But the players that are coming in, that's the big difference.
Real competition for places.
Yeah, and that's, I suppose, it's a tough job for a manager, but a nice job. It's a nice problem they have. You've got a couple of players for every single position, and as we say, once one player comes on, the next player's not weakening the team at all. He's just bringing in fresh ideas and fresh legs to the team. They've got real quality and depth now.
It's a tougher job for the manager when you haven't got those options.